If you've been struggling to lose weight and you feel like you've tried every diet, every workout plan, and every so-called quick fix out there, but still aren't seeing the results you want, then this video is going to change the way you look at weight loss forever. Imagine looking in the mirror just a few weeks from now and seeing a leaner, healthier, more energetic version of yourself. Imagine stepping on the scale and watching the number finally drop instead of staying stuck or creeping upward. That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to walk you through how to lose weight fast, not with gimmicks, not with unsafe methods, but with strategies that actually work and that you can start using today. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll have a step-by-step game plan that will not only help you lose weight quickly, but also keep it off in a sustainable way. Let's be real for a second. When people hear lose weight fast, most immediately think about crash diets, starvation, or extreme exercise routines. And the truth is, those things might get you some short-term results, but they always come back to bite you later. You lose some weight, but then the moment you stop, you regain it, sometimes even more than before. I don't want that for you. I want you to see real results and understand the science behind why your body loses weight in the first place. Because when you understand how it works, you're no longer guessing, you're no longer falling for fads, and you're no longer stuck in that endless cycle of starting over again and again. So here's where we begin. The foundation of fast weight loss isn't magic. It comes down to creating a calorie deficit. That means burning more calories than you consume. I know you've heard that before, but here's the thing, how you create that deficit is what makes all the difference between success and failure. It's not about starving yourself. It's about being smart with the choices you make. When you combine the right kind of nutrition with effective movement and a mindset shift, your body begins to shed fat rapidly. And the best part is that you don't feel like you're suffering every day. Let's talk about food first, because this is where most people go wrong. You don't need a super complicated diet plan or to cut out every single food you love. What you do need is a clear structure. Start by focusing on whole, unprocessed foods, lean proteins like chicken, fish, tofu, and beans. These not only keep you full, but also help your body burn more calories just by digesting them. Next, make vegetables your best friend. Fill half your plate with colorful veggies because they're low in calories, but packed with fiber, vitamins, and minerals that keep your energy steady throughout the day. And yes, you can eat carbs, but here's the trick. Choose smart carbs like brown rice, quinoa oats, and sweet potatoes, and keep them in moderation. And healthy fats like avocado, nuts, seeds, and olive oil, those are not your enemy. In fact, they help keep cravings under control and make your meals satisfying so you don't feel deprived. But here's where it gets interesting. If you want to lose weight fast, one of the most effective tools you can use is intermittent fasting. Now, I'm not saying you need to starve yourself, but giving your body a specific eating window, like eating all your meals within 8 hours and fasting for the other 16, can accelerate fat loss because it helps your body switch from burning sugar to burning fat for energy. Plus, it simplifies your day. You don't have to think about constant snacking, and it gives your digestive system a break. Try skipping breakfast and having your first meal around noon, then stop eating around 8 at night. For a lot of people, this simple shift produces incredible results within weeks. Now let's add the second major piece of the puzzle, movement. Notice I didn't say hours of boring cardio or punishing yourself in the gym. To lose weight fast, You need efficiency, and the most efficient way to burn fat is high-intensity interval training, or SIT. These workouts combine short bursts of intense effort with brief recovery periods, and the magic is that they keep your body burning calories even after you're done exercising. You don't need fancy equipment. Just 20 minutes of bodyweight exercises like squats, push-ups, burpees, and mountain climbers can torch fat at a crazy rate. Do this 3 to 4 times a week and combine it with strength training 2 days a week. Building muscle is key because the more muscle you have, the higher your metabolism becomes, which means you're burning more calories even when you're sitting on the couch. I want to pause here and tell you something that most weight loss videos don't say. Losing weight fast isn't just about what you eat and how you move. It's also about your hormones and your mindset. If your stress levels are constantly high and your sleep is poor, your body holds onto fat, especially around the belly, because of a hormone called cortisol. That's why one of the fastest hacks to accelerate weight loss is to prioritize sleep. Aim for 7 to 9 hours a night. When you sleep well, your hunger hormones reset, your metabolism improves, and your body recovers from workouts. On top of that, find ways to manage stress, whether it's meditation, deep breathing, journaling, or simply walking outside in nature. These small changes can make a massive difference in how quickly the scale moves. Let's also talk about water. This one is so simple but so powerful. Most people walk around dehydrated without realizing it, and dehydration slows down your metabolism. Drinking enough water not only boosts your calorie burn, but also helps you control cravings, because sometimes what feels like hunger is actually thirst. So before you reach for a snack, drink a glass of water and wait a few minutes. You'll be surprised how often that craving disappears. A good rule is to aim for at least 2 to 3 liters of water per day, more if you're active. Now, some of you might be wondering, okay, but how fast can I actually lose weight if I follow this? The truth is, everyone is different. But if you stick to a smart calorie deficit, eat clean whole foods, incorporate intermittent fasting, and combine chai tea with strength training, you can realistically lose 2 to 3 pounds per week, sometimes even more in the beginning as your body drops water weight. That might not sound extreme, but trust me, it adds up fast. In a month, that's 8 to 12 pounds. In 3 months, that's 25 to 30 pounds. And the best part is that this isn't temporary. It's a lifestyle shift that sets you up for long-term success. Here's the secret sauce though. Consistency. So many people get excited, do everything right for a week, and then slip back into old habits. If you want to lose weight fast, you need momentum. That means committing to these changes, even on days when motivation is low. Motivation will come and go, but discipline and habits are what keep you moving forward. One of the best things you can do is track your progress, not just with the scale, but with photos, measurements, and how your clothes fit. Sometimes the scale doesn't tell the full story, especially if you're building muscle, but your body is changing in ways you can see and feel. I also want you to think about your why. Why do you want to lose weight? Is it to feel more confident, to improve your health, to have more energy, or maybe to be there for your kids or grandkids? Whatever it is, keep that reason front and center, because that's what will carry you through when it feels tough. Remember, this journey isn't just about looking good. It's about creating a version of yourself that feels strong, capable, and alive. Let me share a quick story to inspire you. I've seen countless people make these exact changes and transform their lives. One client I worked with was stuck at the same weight for years, trying every diet out there. Once she switched to a simple whole food eating plan, added intermittent fasting, and started doing 20-minute chi workouts 3 times a week, she dropped 15 pounds in the first month. But more importantly, she felt in control for the first time in her life. She wasn't chained to calorie counting or endless hours of cardio. She was enjoying her food, loving her workouts, and building confidence every single day. That's the kind of transformation you can experience too. And here's something else to remember. Losing weight fast doesn't mean you can't enjoy life. You don't need to cut out every treat or avoid every social event. What matters is balance. Follow the 80-20 rule. Eat clean, nutrient-dense foods 80% of the time, and allow yourself some flexibility 20% of the time. That way, you don't feel deprived, and you're far less likely to binge or quit altogether. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. As you put all of this into action, be patient with yourself. Some days will feel easier than others. There will be times you slip up, and that's okay. What matters is that you don't let one bad day turn into a bad week. Just get right back on track. Remember, consistency beats perfection every single time. So if you're ready to finally lose weight fast in a way that actually works, start with these steps. Clean up your nutrition, create a calorie deficit, try intermittent fasting, move your body with HIIT and strength training, prioritize sleep and stress management, and stay consistent. If you stick to this, your body will respond faster than you think, and before long, you'll look back and wonder why you ever doubted yourself in the first place. Imagine for a moment that you're on a strict diet, one that eliminates nearly every food you enjoy. At first, you might feel excited, even motivated, because you're watching the number on the scale drop quickly. But then reality sets in. You start craving the foods you've cut out. Your energy begins to crash, and social situations like family dinners or eating out with friends become stressful instead of enjoyable. Slowly, that extreme diet that once felt like a quick solution starts to feel like a prison, and eventually, most people break free of it, swinging all the way back into old habits, regaining the weight they lost, and sometimes even more. This cycle is the reason so many people struggle with weight loss. It's not that they're lazy or lack discipline. It's because the approach they've been given was never sustainable to begin with. Sustainable balance, on the other hand, isn't about restriction or punishment. It's about creating a lifestyle where healthy choices naturally fit into your everyday life without feeling like a constant battle. It's about understanding that losing weight fast doesn't mean starving yourself or chasing every new diet trend. It means finding a rhythm that you can actually stick with, not just for weeks, but for years. Think about it like this. If you can't picture yourself following your diet 6 months or a year from now, then it's probably not the right plan for you. Extreme diets demand perfection, but life is never perfect. There will always be birthdays, holidays, vacations, and stressful days when you just want comfort food. A sustainable, balanced approach allows room for those moments without derailing your progress. Instead of labeling foods as good or bad, it teaches you to understand portions, to prioritize nutrient-dense foods most of the time, and to enjoy treats occasionally without guilt. This is powerful because when you stop putting foods on a forbidden list, the obsession with them fades. You're no longer driven by the feeling of restriction, and that means you're far less likely to binge or give up altogether. Balance creates freedom, while extremes create cycles of on and off, all or nothing, success and failure. When you look at people who've successfully lost weight and kept it off long term, you'll notice a common theme. They didn't rely on an extreme diet that cut out carbs forever or forced them to eat the same bland meals every day. Instead, they found a middle ground that fit into their lifestyle. They learned to cook meals they enjoyed with healthier substitutions. They allowed flexibility when eating out, and they built habits that didn't feel like a chore. Maybe they swapped soda for sparkling water, started having fruit instead of candy most days, or discovered recipes that made vegetables taste delicious instead of boring. These might sound like small changes, but stacked together, they create massive results over time. And because the changes are enjoyable and realistic, they last. That's the secret of balance. It doesn't feel like a punishment. It feels like living, and that's why it works better than any extreme method ever could. Another thing to consider is the effect of extreme diets on your body. When you drastically cut calories or entire food groups, your body goes into survival mode. Your metabolism slows down, your energy levels drop, and your hormones become unbalanced. This makes it harder and harder to lose weight the longer you try to stick with that plan. That's why people on extreme diets often experience plateaus or rebound weight gain. A balanced approach, on the other hand, supports your metabolism instead of fighting against it. Eating enough protein preserves your muscle mass. Eating healthy fats keeps your hormones stable, and eating the right carbs gives you energy for workouts and daily life. This balance keeps your body functioning at its best, so that the weight loss you achieve is not only faster in the beginning, but also sustainable over the long haul. Let's also talk about the mental side of this. Extreme diets often make people feel guilty, ashamed, or like failures when they can't follow the rules perfectly. That guilt creates stress, and stress itself can cause your body to hold onto fat, particularly in the belly area. But when you take a balanced approach, you shift the way you think about food and yourself. You stop viewing slip-ups as failures and instead see them as part of the process. You start celebrating progress instead of obsessing over perfection. This mental shift not only reduces stress, but also makes the journey more enjoyable. You feel empowered instead of trapped, motivated instead of drained. And when you enjoy the process, you stick with it, which is the most important factor in long-term success. Consider also the social aspect of sustainable balance. Life is meant to be lived, and food is a big part of culture, family, and relationships. When you follow an extreme diet, you often feel left out or disconnected. You might avoid going out with friends because you're worried about sticking to the rules, or you might feel awkward explaining why you're not eating what everyone else is. Over time, this isolation makes it harder to stay on track. A balanced approach eliminates that problem because it teaches you how to make smarter choices in any situation. Maybe you order grilled chicken with vegetables instead of fried food, or you enjoy a slice of cake at a birthday party without eating half the cake. You still participate fully in life, and you still lose weight because your overall lifestyle supports your goals. That's why balance is sustainable. It works with your life instead of against it. There's also something to be said about flexibility when it comes to exercise. Extreme approaches might tell you to work out for hours every day, which isn't realistic for most people with jobs, families, and responsibilities. A balanced approach recognizes that movement should fit into your life in a way that you actually enjoy. Maybe you love walking, dancing, swimming, or doing short, intense workouts instead of marathon gym sessions. When you choose activities that feel good to you, exercise becomes a natural part of your lifestyle, not something you dread or force yourself to do. And when you enjoy your workouts, you're far more likely to stick with them consistently, which is what really drives long-term results. Sustainable balance also prepares you for setbacks. Life will always throw challenges your way, vacations, illnesses, busy work schedules. But if your plan is flexible and forgiving, you can adjust without losing progress. Maybe you can't work out for a week, but you can focus on eating balanced meals. Maybe you indulge more than usual on a holiday, but you know how to get back to your routine without feeling like you've ruined everything. This resilience is the key to maintaining results for the rest of your life. Extreme diets don't offer that. The moment you step outside their rigid rules, they crumble and you're left feeling lost. Balance, however, gives you the tools to adapt, and that makes you unstoppable. It's also worth mentioning that sustainable balance looks different for everyone. There's no one size fits all formula because your lifestyle, preferences, and body are unique. For some, balance might mean 3 structured meals a day with occasional treats. For others, it might mean intermittent fasting with flexible meal choices. For one person, balance might mean mostly plant-based eating with occasional meat, while for another, it might mean high-protein meals with plenty of vegetables. The beauty of balance is that it can be customized to fit you, instead of forcing you to fit into a rigid mold. This personalization is what makes it so powerful and why it succeeds where extreme diets fail. In the end, when you focus on balance, you create a lifestyle that doesn't just help you lose weight fast, but also keeps you healthy, energized, and happy for the long term. You're not living in extremes, swinging between restriction and overindulgence, success and failure. Instead, you're building a foundation that supports you every single day, allowing you to reach your goals without sacrificing the joy of eating, the pleasure of social connection, or the energy you need to live your life fully. When you start a weight loss journey, one of the most overlooked yet powerful tools you can use is tracking your progress. At first it might sound boring or unnecessary, but the truth is that progress tracking is the glue that holds your efforts together and keeps you moving forward when motivation fades. Most people start out with excitement and strong willpower. They set big goals and they work hard for a week or two. But then life happens, results don't always show up as quickly as they expect, and they begin to doubt whether their effort is even making a difference. That's where tracking comes in. Tracking gives you undeniable proof that the little actions you take each day are adding up to something bigger. It allows you to see progress that you might not notice in the mirror or on the scale right away, and it gives you the motivation to keep going on the days when you feel like giving up. Think about how the human brain works. We love feedback. We crave evidence that what we're doing is working. If you go to the gym for a week and you don't instantly see 6-pack abs, you might feel discouraged. But if you've been tracking your workouts, noting the weights you've lifted, the number of push-ups you've done, or even how much easier the exercises feel, you'll see clear evidence that you're stronger than you were a week ago. That's progress. And progress fuels motivation. Without that proof, it's too easy to tell yourself it's not working and quit before you've given yourself a real chance. Tracking also helps you build consistency because it creates accountability. When you write something down, whether it's the food you've eaten, the steps you've taken, or the hours you've slept, you become more aware of your actions. That awareness alone can change behavior. For example, if you're writing down everything you eat, you might think twice before grabbing a sugary snack because you know you'll have to record it. If you're tracking your workouts, you're less likely to skip because you don't want to see an empty space in your log. Over time, this habit of recording creates a powerful loop. Awareness leads to better choices. Better choices lead to results. Results motivate you to keep tracking, and the cycle continues. Another reason tracking is so important is that weight loss isn't always linear. The scale can fluctuate from day to day because of water retention, hormones, or even the amount of salt you ate. If you only track your weight and you see it go up one day, you might feel like you failed, even if you're actually losing fat. But if you track multiple forms of progress, measurements, photos, strength gains, energy levels, you'll see that the bigger picture is moving in the right direction. Maybe the scale hasn't moved much this week, but your jeans fit looser, or your waist is an inch smaller, or you're running farther than you could before. That's progress, and without tracking it, you might never realize how far you've come. Tracking also teaches you about your own body. Everyone is different, and what works for one person might not work for another. When you track your food, exercise, sleep, and mood, you begin to see patterns. Maybe you notice that you lose more weight when you eat more protein, or that you have more energy when you drink enough water. Maybe you realize that you snack more when you're stressed, or that your workouts are better when you get at least 7 hours of sleep. These insights are gold because they allow you to customize your routine to fit your body and lifestyle. Instead of blindly following a diet or workout someone else created, you're learning what works best for you. And that makes your journey much more effective. There's also a psychological benefit to tracking. Every time you log a healthy meal, complete a workout, or check off a habit, your brain releases a little dopamine hit. This creates a reward loop that makes you want to keep doing it. It's like playing a video game where you get points for completing levels. The more you track, the more motivated you feel to keep racking up those points. This is why apps, journals, or even simple checklists can be so powerful. They turn the process into something tangible and rewarding. Over time, this builds discipline and consistency, which are far more reliable than motivation alone. Think of tracking as shining a light on your journey. Without it, you're walking in the dark, guessing whether you're making progress. With it, you can see exactly where you've been and where you're going. This not only builds confidence, but also gives you the ability to adjust when needed. For example, if you've been tracking your calories and you notice that your weight loss has stalled, you can look back at your data and see if you've been eating more than you thought, or if you need to adjust your workouts. Without that data, you'd just be guessing. Tracking gives you the power to make informed decisions instead of relying on luck or willpower. It's important to point out that tracking doesn't have to be complicated. Some people think it means weighing every gram of food or spending hours writing notes, but it doesn't. You can keep it simple by taking weekly progress photos, jotting down what you ate each day, or checking off boxes on a habit tracker. The key is consistency, not perfection. The method you choose should fit into your lifestyle so that you actually stick with it. Maybe you prefer using a fitness app on your phone, or maybe you like the feel of writing in a notebook. Whatever works for you is the best method. One of the most motivating parts of tracking is being able to look back and see how far you've come. In the moment, it's easy to forget the small wins, but when you flip back through your notes or for photos and see that you've lost inches, built strength, or improved endurance, you realize just how much you've achieved. This reflection is powerful because it reminds you that your effort is paying off. even on the days when you feel stuck. It also builds pride and self-belief, which are essential for long-term success. When you can see your progress, you start to trust yourself more, and that confidence spills over into other areas of your life too. Tracking also creates a sense of commitment. When you put something in writing or log it into an app, you're essentially making a promise to yourself. That act alone can increase the likelihood that you'll follow through. Think about how much more serious you feel about a goal once you've written it down compared to when it's just floating around in your head. Tracking takes your goals out of your imagination and makes them concrete. And when something is concrete, you treat it with more respect and dedication. Another layer to this is accountability. Some people like to share their progress with a friend, coach, or online community. When others can see your progress logs or updates, it adds an extra level of accountability that pushes you to stay consistent. You don't want to let yourself down, but you also don't want to let others down. This can be a powerful motivator, especially when you're struggling. And the best part is, when you share your journey, you might inspire someone else to start theirs too. Tracking also makes setbacks less discouraging. Instead of feeling like you're back at square one after a slip up, you can look at your log and see all the good days you've had. One off day doesn't erase weeks of progress, and seeing that in black and white can help you bounce back faster. This is crucial because consistency isn't about being perfect every day. It's about getting back on track quickly when you fall off. Tracking gives you perspective and helps you keep the bigger picture in mind. It's also worth noting that tracking doesn't just apply to physical results. You can track how you feel emotionally, your energy levels, your sleep quality, or even your confidence. Sometimes the most important progress isn't on the scale, but in how your life improves. Maybe you feel happier, less stressed, or more capable of handling challenges. These are powerful motivators that you might not notice unless you track them. And when you do, they can keep you moving forward even when physical results take longer to show. Ultimately, tracking progress is about building a relationship with yourself. It's about being honest, patient, and curious. It's about celebrating small wins and learning from setbacks. Over time, this practice builds consistency because you're no longer relying on short bursts of motivation. You're creating habits, gathering data, and reinforcing the belief that you are capable of change. And that belief is what carries you through the tough days and keeps you going until you reach your goals.